You're telling me that's an environment that will be conducive of winning? That's going to be mad toxic. There's 3 to 4 players. Austin Reeves is still trying to solidify himself as an NBA player, bro. It's like 3 or 4 players on this team, guards alone, who is still trying to solidify themselves for the next step. That's not going to get the quality reps that they want. You think that they're going to be in and out of the locker room just happy-go-lucky and fine with that shit? No. Especially if Russell Westbrook gets the starting lineup, the starting role, and he's dog shit for the first 10 to 15 games. They're not going to be okay with that. That's immediately breeding a toxic environment. You're adding more, and what's crazy is he added a guard in Dennis Schroeder who historically has been known to buck at the ideology of the role in which he has. He did it with the Lakers. He did it with the Clippers. When he was in Atlanta, he did it as well. That nigga's been doing this his entire career. Dennis Schroeder's not about to come in and just be pleasantly okay with being the third guard on this team. This is ridiculous. Bro, this team is fucking joke, nigga. Has no big perimeter players at all. No big. They're going to just be torched. They're going to get picked apart. And we're going to have a fucking size problem. Nobody's going to be able to rebound. And everything is still on the balance on if Anthony Davis is going to be healthy. All right, nigga, y'all got it. AD going to be healthy. Okay. That's what everybody's crossing their fingers for. Fucking joke, bro. This team is like literally a LeBron and AD away from being like a lottery, like not even a lottery, like a fucking like a Utah Jazz level tanking team.
Nigga, they would get Wemby.
Bro. It's fucking ridiculous, bro. But y'all niggas can talk, bro. This shit is fucking.
Yeah, they don't own their pick.
Send LeBron back to Cleveland, bro. We take him, bro. We give you a 2024 first round pick for him, bro. Send him back, bro.
It's bro. None of the signings even make sense, bro. They don't make sense.
No,
they make no sense
Dennis
at all.
Schroeder, I was done. Like, you already have Lonnie Walker, Russell Westbrook, Patrick Beverley, and Austin Reeves. Hi, bro.
And Kendrick Nunn.
Bro, one of the Morris twins has been available all off season long. You didn't think it might have be good to go get like a bigger player? You get another guard? Nigga, what's
crazy is like the Nets were in like complete shambles and were still able to add TJ Warren, Markieff Morris, and they were still able to add talent to their team that made sense. And they were in fucking disarray. And yet these motherfuckers can't even do anything right.
How is it possible that like teams are able to just like do moves that the Lakers just can't? Like they have no idea. It just feels like the Lakers just don't know what they're fucking doing, like at all. If illegitimately,
why isn't the GM doing it? Wait, Legend of Winning. Why isn't the GM handling this better? Like
because he's a bad GM. I've been saying it for.
He's a bad GM.
Yes, nigga, he's a bad GM, bro. I've been saying it for the past year and a half. Niggas got. Oh wow, niggas got all gas because they got LeBron and AD. LeBron came to the team on his own regard. Rob Pelinka wasn't fucking moving the needle on that nigga coming or not. He was gonna come regardless, nigga. They just had to free up space, and then they had so many assets because they've been bad for so long that they traded for Anthony Davis and really were just competing against themselves. Fair enough, you got those players though. That's fine. But even when you look at how they built the team like 2 years ago, bro, a lot of those players, bro, they just got it because LeBron and AD on the team, or they just got fairly lucky. Like KCP took a pay cut to be there. Danny Green was there, played quality minutes. He did his thing. Kuzma was already there. Like they were already on quality players. Bro, since then they have added really no one of value. If anything, they've lost them. They were holding on to fucking THT because they thought that he was going to amount to something. Even last year when they got Malik Monk, it was just off the fact that he was trying to prove himself in the NBA and wanted a much better contract than he thought he was going to get with the Hornets or with anybody else. That's it.
Okay, I have a couple of questions for you, Legend of Winning. Are you done ranting?
I just want to say this. It's the same thing with some of these other players. Lonnie Walker is in the exact same situation. He just wants a quality contract from another team. JTA is probably in that exact same situation, and we know for a fact Westbrook is in that situation as well. Limiting their minutes and believing that it's going to be an okay situation is fucking crazy. Dennis Schroeder has been trying to land a contract for the past 2 years. Why would you put an environment where everybody's going to be competing against themselves? Fuck the other team. They're going to be competing against themselves for a starting spot.
Wait, but Legend, I have a couple of questions. Just built off like the makeup of the team, right? Because when you look at it, right, I'm just kind of looking at what you guys have, from like a rotation perspective, right? I mean, you guys don't have like many players who are above the height of 6'8", 6'9". You got like 3, and like only 2 of them are really going to be in the rotation like that, unless you're playing Damian Jones. I'm looking at like the guards. You have Troy Brown, Austin Reeves, Max Christie's probably going to be in the G League. You have Lonnie Walker, Russell Westbrook, Scottie Pippen Jr. He's going to be in the G League. Patrick Beverly, Kendrick Nunn, all those guys, right? And of course you have LeBron James there still, which is just kind of funny. You're having all those guys there just for LeBron to play point guard again, but still, like, because that is at the end of the day, it is what's going to happen.
Which is kind of the fucked up. You're right. It is kind of the fucked up part. We just added all these guards to still just have the ball in LeBron's hands anyway.
Anyway, right? But like, you look at all these guys: Kendrick Nunn, Pat Bev, Russ, Dennis Schroeder, Lonnie Walker. I look at like those 5 guards specifically, right? Because I think, in Austin Reeves, those 6 guards, right? Like, I think because those guys were the main ones that we've been looking for this summer, who are probably going to get the most minutes, who are the most anticipated guards, right? Like, what do you think is going to happen moving forward to those 6 guards? Because I mean, you don't have any forwards really. I mean, Troy Brown, I guess, if you want to play him at the 3, but I'm looking at it, you don't really have anyone who can play the 3 outside of LeBron. You don't have anyone who can play the 4 outside of AD and Bron, maybe even JTA at moments. It's like
they probably gonna play Gabriel. For people who want to know, like the players that I think the 12-man rotation that they're going to play, I put it at the top on the billboard, and basically the 12-man, just so everybody's on the same page, is Pat Bev, Nunn, Westbrook, Lonnie Walker, Austin Reeves, Dennis Schroeder, JTA, LeBron, AD, Thomas Bryant. And then Wendell Gabriel and Damian Jones may be in and out, like rotating with maybe some other players that they got. But I think those are the 12 players that are going to receive the most minutes throughout this season. So to answer the question about the lineup situation, the only thing that I can only contemplate where this works is if they just start running 3 guard lineups. Because like we were saying in Discord, bro, like the best part about having LeBron and AD on your team is that you could flex them at the 5 and 4 position as well as the 4 and 3 position. Like, you have flexibility with them. And in practically every metric since LeBron and AD have been together, and really LeBron since his Miami years up until now, LeBron just looks tremendously better when the team looks much better when he's at the power forward position. When he can play the 4, force the other team to play small, and just be more physical than them, because there's not that many players in the NBA who can be 250, 6'8 plus, who can stand in front of him unless they're slow-footed power forwards. So having LeBron at the power forward and having AD at the 5 being a bit more versatile than most 5s are in the league is the best benefit of having both of those players on your team. The problem, though, is that when you have no other quality big wings around them, you're basically going to have to run 3 guard lineups. And when you look at the 3 guard lineups that you're going to play, more than likely you're going to maximize the floor spacing as well. But there's no who is even maximizing the floor spacing? How much are you going to give up defensively in the process, especially when you don't have the proper size? Because even though, yes, you may be able to get 3-point shooting, we just sat there and watched the playoffs, bro. Teams are just picking you apart every time that they can get in pivotal situations when you don't have the size to match up with them, when you don't have the versatility to switch with them, when you don't have the physicality to be on the boards with them. They're just going to switch, to remove AD as far as he can from the basket with proper floor spacing, or go at Anthony Davis and LeBron to keep them tied up defensively, and have the rest of the team just struggle on that end. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. In today's league, in a wings league, This league is made for wings and ball handlers, more or less. A few big men here and there, but it's a wings league. If you do not have the proper personnel to go at the wings or to keep up with the wings or have the versatility with your big man to switch on the wings or just have other wing players to switch on guards, nigga, you are going to fail. You're going to fail. Every team that has been successful for the past 5 to 7 years has had that in common. They've had switchable players. They've had bigger bodies. They have power forwards and potentially even 5 men who can switch out on the perimeter when need be as well. If you don't have those things, you are going to fail. Like you sat there and said, the fact that there's only 2 or 3 players on this list, on this team, that's going to be taller than 6'6", that's going to play quality minutes, and both of them are basically LeBron and AD. Everybody else basically is going to play minimal minutes and have marginal impact on this roster outside of being a potential floor spacer and a breather for LeBron and AD is ridiculous, bro. That's basically it. There's no quality players on this team that are above 6'6" outside of LeBron and AD. That's literally it.
No, even outside of the size, LeBron James is once again the best shooter on the floor for the Lakers. What the fuck, bruh? Like, that is some bullshit. Like, oh my God. We saw, even if you have, 3 guard lineups, at least, you know what I'm saying, the gravity that LeBron James and the playmaking that LeBron James has. All right, bro, he can get a shooter. He can get those guards open. And those guards are shooting, sub 35% from 3, bro. Pack it up, bro. Take for Wemby.
And
they don't own their pick. They can't tank for Wemby.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
they can't. Yeah.
No, most of these niggas get off the book after this year.
That's the other, but that goes back to the whole
11 guys are playing on an expiring contract.
Yeah, that's the other problem that I said before.
Garbage
It's a bunch of fucking guards. It's a bunch of players that are going to be competing for contracts because they're trying to establish themselves in the NBA, bro. It's literally LeBron, AD, Damian Jones. He has a player option after this year, and Max Christie. That's it. Everybody else is on expirings, bro. Everyone else.
The Lakers organization just prays for bailouts. Since 2020, bailout that LeBron James came, bailout that they got all those assets, and that the bailout from Anthony Davis to say I'm coming to LA and Rich Paul fucking set that shit up. The bailout to get guys who were willing to take pay cuts. If an opportunity didn't fall into their lap, they were not gonna make the necessary moves to go make something happen. Only if every single situation was gonna happen. It was really bad management. Also, fucking Genie Bus is a relevant owner. What the fuck is he doing, bro?
I don't know. And the only thing that I can imagine is if they trade, the only quality thing they could do is just trade Westbrook to Utah. Get Bojan and hopefully Vanderbilt. But even if they get Jordan Clarkson, it's this and Malik Beasley, bro. It's still more guards and no quality perimeter defenders, bro. It's still the same thing. Yes, offensively maybe maximized, but nigga, Anthony Davis is going to be doing the same thing that this nigga Rudy Gobert was doing, trying to cover for everybody on the floor.
Now I don't think Utah's gonna take Westbrook though, because if they wanted a cap spacer, they would have taken Kevin Love in that Donovan Mitchell trade. Because Kevin Love is on a $30 million expiring, so I don't know why they would take a $40 million expiring. It doesn't make any sense.
If the picks will probably just be more valuable. If Danny
Ainge can get 2 more Laker picks, especially down the road, where you don't even know what the Lakers are going to look like in 27 or 29, he's definitely going to go after that.
Yeah, without a doubt. The picks are just. Those picks are just way too valuable at this point. And what's crazy, you know what the craziest part about it is? Even the fucking Lakers know those picks are valuable. All this entire time, the day in which they got LeBron, the concept of picks don't matter, young players don't matter, we're here to try to win. Now all of a sudden we're fucking holding on to 2 random picks because they know how valuable those picks are. They know for a fact, the Lakers know for a fact they're in a situation of uncertainty beyond 3 years. And after that shit is done, they have no idea what's next because they didn't even put themselves in a position to properly prepare themselves for what's going to happen after 3 years, after LeBron and AD may be gone or LeBron is retired. They didn't even prepare themselves for that. That's the reason why they're just holding on to these fucking picks. Because there's no way that a team was willing to overpay picks and players to go get Anthony Davis because they were competing against themselves. A team that was willing to move picks just to get fucking Westbrook. A team that's been moving players left and right just to assemble the squad that they had last year is now not all of a sudden going to be like, oh, yeah, these two random picks that are like 4 or 5 years down the line. Yeah, we're going to hold off on that. Stop.
Quick question. Was the whole, like, Kyrie, I'm not sure if this is true, but, like, was it, like, the reason why the Kyrie deal fell was because, like, the Lakers were unwilling to give up that second pick?
Wait, say it again?
Was, like, the reason why that, like, Kyrie trade to the Lakers didn't work out, I'm not sure this is true, by the way, but, like, it's because they weren't willing to give up the second first-round pick? Like, they were only willing to do one?
I don't think the Nets were really looking to I don't think the Nets were really looking to trade Kyrie unless they knew what they can get for Durant. Because there would be no need for me to just trade Kyrie if we ended up still keeping Durant on the roster, which they did. So I don't think that the Nets were never really in a rush to trade Kyrie until they figured out what they were going to do with Durant. They figured out that Durant was going to be on the roster, and so there was like there's no need to even trade him anymore. So even that really, I don't think that was real until they moved Kevin Durant. But yeah, I don't understand the concept of just having this many guards on the team where LeBron is basically going to be the primary ball handler.
A big reason why the team is constructed this way is because two-way wings are like the hottest commodity, at least the proven ones, right? They didn't have the money this summer, due to like the contract situation to actually go out and pay a wing. And then on top of that, when you're dangling THT, Russ, maybe none as your trade chips, those guys aren't going to net you a proven two-way wing. That's why like the guys the Lakers have been linked to are like Cam Reddish, an unproven prospect, or like Gordon Hayward, a guy who's been like really injured. A solid two-way wing just isn't available. It's not within the Lakers
No, but
it's not reasonable for them to ask that.
Every team in the league like that's competing or playoff locks or like has a reasonable chance to make deep runs in the postseason, like they're not just trading for like switchable wings. They're developing them. They're drafting them late.
That's what I'm saying. We don't even draft them. That's the problem. Is I understand what you're saying. How much of a commodity they are. We've been able to have some of these players, and for whatever reason didn't acknowledge how valuable they're going to be in playoff settings. So we just like literally shipped them off.
Well, yeah, the 20 and 21 team, they had solid two-way players, kind of in the range that we're talking about. For whatever reason, they got rid of most of these guys. But I'm saying now to circle back and try to like retain those players, the Lakers aren't really in a position to like find guys. Like they have to find guys like Stanley Johnson, like a guy they signed off the street, Wendy and Gabriel. Those are the type of guys they got to go after, basically.
I see what you're saying, but we don't even. But the problem is that even like leading up to where we are right now, they weren't even really drafting them. All the players that were drafted with Laker picks were somebody else's. Like it were already gone to somebody else. Like DeAndre Hunter was already established in Atlanta. Jaden McDaniels that got drafted with our pick was already established to go to I think OKC then Minnesota. Like all the players that we should have been getting anyway to put us in a better situation. Like we weren't really.
That's a fair point. I think that's just a common theme with LeBron teams anyways. I don't think they really bank on drafting guys and developing them during his timeline.
No, but that's unfair because like I think
I want to know
like Miami at least came in with a solid roster and they weren't like bullshitting around like
when did they draft those guys though? Those guys were vets. They signed those guys.
No. What I'm saying is like
what did they do, bro?
What
did they do, lying ass?
They would just do. They weren't doing one-year rentals. And that was the difference between.
Miami. But I think the reason why the Lakers are doing these one-year rentals, and I don't think people want to hear this, but the Lakers are effectively saying if we can't trade Russ, we've punted our season, and we'd rather maintain future flexibility. That's just what it is.
I mean, I agree with you.
I feel like they should just send I'm not gonna lie.
But the other aspect of it, and I understand what you're saying. I'm just looking at what the Lakers were doing before LeBron got there, and I'm not trying to blame LeBron, but it's the way everything was established from that point on, or even let's say hypothetically speaking, the 2015 season up until when they got LeBron, even the draft picks were more sound and coherent from where they are right now, right? Like I'm not saying that all of these players panned out, but it made sense, the additions in which they were making to the roster, for them to actually build something competent. And to be fair to the Lakers in some capacity, a lot of the younger players, not saying that they're all NBA caliber players, but a lot of those players went on to be quality pieces. Like Josh Hart is doing fine right now. Alex Caruso is doing fine. Lonzo, when he's healthy, doing solid. Kuzma, like all of them, a BI. Even Larry, I'm not even mad at some of the things I see from Larry Nance from time to time.
Are we sure that Lonzo and BI are these same type of play, or even Josh Hart are these same type of players without like the help?
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying the hypothetical if they're still on the team. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is when those players are being selected to be put on the team, when they were being constructed of the roster, everything made sense when they were making those additions. You could just visibly see it. The only contingency that people really had was the idea of already having D'Lo on the roster and then drafting Lonzo, but then we later on figured out that they were just going to trade D'Lo anyway, and they got Brook Lopez, who again should have been a player that the Lakers should have kept, because it actually would have been one of the best unique pieces to keep on a team with LeBron and Anthony Davis. It's probably the perfect fit for them. So that's my point, that they were making moves that made sense. As soon as 2019 came along, bro, Brook Lopez just walks for nothing. As soon as 2019 came around, they had LeBron. There's players being moved that didn't make any sense. In the following offseason, they overpaid for Anthony Davis. And even if we want to say some of that, okay, fair enough, fine. Still, them having Caruso had already been on the team for like a year or two. Kuzma was already there. KCP got there before LeBron was there. So they were already building something that was sustainable and that made sense. But slowly but surely, not only are they losing quality pieces that you can put around LeBron, they're not even replacing them with anybody. Like, you're not even finding players. It's just like we're just going to go around, and then then when everything kind of just trickles and falls apart, and now you're on a roster with fucking 6 guards, 2 big wings, and a bunch of power forwards that have to masquerade as a 5, and almost everybody on the roster is on expiring contracts, then you put yourself in a situation where you don't even really have that many options. Even with Russell Westbrook not on the team anymore, you don't even have that many options beyond 2025 because you didn't even prepare yourself for what the team is going to look like. So I understand that right now, yes, it is difficult to get the players that are needed because of the situation that they found themselves in. However, it's not as if the Lakers were making these moves earlier on. They were constructing a team that made sense before we got to 2019. As soon as 2019 came, all fucking logic just went out the window. Players were being lost for no reason. They were just letting Brook Lopez walk. They let Caruso walk for no reason, for literally no reason. And then they're just trading players along for names instead of actually understanding what it takes to actually build something. Wayne Ellington being on a team just because you're fucking scrambling for 3-point shooting when you don't comprehend that his lack of impact defensively will hurt you is a problem. Them not having bigger wings is a problem. Them having that stretch of where fucking they were fucking being idiots and be like, oh, well, we're going to be different. We're going to go against the grain and try to find as many ball handlers to put next to LeBron without identifying that you need more flexible wings and bigs at that time is a problem. So you get to this point where you are right now, where it's nothing but a bunch of fucking expiring contracts and a bunch of role players who are trying to prove themselves around LeBron and AD like this is some fucking expansion team. That's basically what that's basically what his team is. It's an expansion team.
But Laker fans think this roster can go to playoffs though.
No.
Healthy, maybe.
Even if they make the playoffs, it's a bottom seeded team that's more than likely going to be in the play-in, bro.
No, bro, I'm asking y'all Laker fans, say if LeBron James,
nigga, is one nigga who's Lakers.
Say if LeBron James and Anthony Davis miss games in the regular season, right?
The same thing will happen. That happened this year,
right? Do y'all have productive role players that can get you a game, that can get you quality minutes off the bench and still produce?
Nigga, why are you acting like you know the answer, bro? You just trying to be funny, bro.
Not only that, I don't even think they have a quality coach either.
Man, shut up, nigga.
I'm not even a fan of Darvin Ham. I don't even think Darvin Ham is a quality coach who's going to add much to this team anyway.
You know, Darvin Ham guy.
So nose out of your mind.
Why should anybody be a Darvin Ham guy?
I got no clue. I was just asking.
He's a fresh voice to the locker
He's got a
room.
good. He's got
a
a
guy
good.
that can
Bro, he's a fresh voice that 12-year vets are not gonna give a
He's
fuck
got
about,
an.
bro.
He's got an.
Well,
He's got a,
your veteran leadership was
Okay,
your
man.
veteran players was to listen to Frank Vogel. So shit,
Thank you,
you
Les.
got somebody
No,
to come
but
in
they
and
okay.
bring a fresh new look, a fresh outlook to the Lakers.
The difference is you have players that are playing for a contract next year. They don't give a shit about.
They don't.
All they care about is their production. If their production declines, fuck what Darvin Ham says. Like, if they're like, because they're affecting their bottom line for the next season, they're not gonna allow bullshit from Darvin Ham. So they're only gonna allow it when it benefits them.
Nigga, who is
Like,
blowing?
Yeah, that's
Who is Mike? Oh my god.
No, but also I think it's just a big market fallacy.
I don't know, man. I think that
fucking New York does this too, where they just assume because it's New York, people are gonna come, so they don't worry about guys leaving.
KD,
Like,
Kyrie, and Zion.
They're like, oh no, we're gonna get the next, Alex Kuzma. We're gonna get the next Kuzma. Don't worry about it. It's LA, bro. Everyone wants to live in LA, and we added Braun. So who doesn't want to play with Braun? That's such bad logic.
Lo, if you don't mind me asking, who would you rather have the Lakers hired?
From a coaching standpoint?
Yes. Yeah.
Would have rather them hire Tyloo when LeBron told them to.
I don't know if Snyder was available.
I feel sorry for them.
Who was the coach for the Nets that like Kyrie and KD got fired?
Kenny Atkinson.
What proof is there? There's no, at the very least, there's no proof of like Darvin being a bad coach. There's proof of.
I understand what you're saying. I would argue. I don't want to go back. This nigga's going in and out. I don't want to harp on things that he used to say back in the day, because he used to be the assistant for the Lakers back in 2011, 2012. And even
was that the year they had Dwight?
It was the year before that.
In between them switching with D'Antoni at the head coach, like that, those years. And even during then, and to be fair to him, I'm not, I'm pretty sure he gained some knowledge. But if you listen to him back then, he was a defensive-oriented coach, to his credit, but that really didn't go into that much details with the offensive end. He never really pegged me as somebody who's going to be fluent offensively as a coach. But to be fair, he could have gained a lot of knowledge since then. So
are you talking about Darvin?
Yeah.
No, but okay, look.
That's a
Even
crazy
if he's
way to
Greg
judge a coach.
Popovich, it doesn't matter.
That's a what?
That's a crazy way to judge a coach, bro.
That's what I said. That's what I said. I don't want to put too much stock in
honestly,
like,
if I could say, I just don't think, if it's not an elite coach like what somebody just said, Greg Popovich, if that's not somebody of that criteria coaching LeBron, I don't think we're ever going to be like, yeah, this is the best.
No, my argument is like, even if Darvin Ham is somehow the next coming of Greg Popovich, who cares? There's so many freaking positional liabilities. There's so many like organizational flaws. There's so many like personnel issues. It doesn't matter if Darvin Ham is like this fucking GOAT coach. You can't coach Patrick Beverley to guard a fucking Kawhi Leonard or Paul George. You can't coach Damian Jones to be an elite pick and roll big. You can't do that. Like, these players are like, you can maybe increase the level like Steve Kerr did for Wiggins, but you can't tell Wiggins, oh, bro, like, you can't tell Wiggins, like, oh, now you got to be Steph Curry. He's not going to be that regardless of how much coaching. But you can tell Wiggins, hey, bro, you're 6'8", play defense.
I think that goes back to the first point, though. I think that they're effectively tanking the season, maintaining flexibility, and I think the Lakers front office understands the limitations of the roster that they've given to Darvin Ham.
But they don't have picks. Tanking is useless because you don't have picks.
Not tanking, nigga.
Not
he says tanking.
I said punting the season.
But like,
they're like getting.
I'm not saying tanking. You were the one that said tanking.
Nigga, there's nothing for it to do. There's no out of.
They're just going to be a middling team. They're going to try.
They're just getting money off the books. They're really going to.
There's no out for this. So I think that Yeah, I think that
at least next offseason.
They're gonna
I think the Lakers' best option is to just buy out Russ. I don't think they're gonna find a trade. I think they're just gonna buy him out.
Don't buy him out, bro. Just
send him
That's
home.
a terrible idea.
Because you don't know. What would be the point of buying him out? Like, how does that make sense?
This is on the last year of his contract.
Instead of just waiting 1 year and like getting off of $47 million. Yeah,
not even waiting a year. Just waiting until just waiting to the deadline, because I'm pretty sure there's gonna be teams that are in different situations that might be
that are gonna want picks. They're gonna want picks. You're better off just sending Russ home than you are waiving him.
You're better off just telling this nigga, go to the crib, go chill with your kids that the fans seem to fucking love so much, and don't
become a family
back, nigga. Take it.
Go to Project Runway.
Leave us alone, nigga. Leave us alone. That's their best option, bro.
Also, like, it's kind of funny, like, it's like freaking. Nah, I blame Jeannie Buss for this, bro. I've watched her interview. She's like, I want a collaborative environment. Until LeBron James says something, and she's like, nah.
A collaborative environment? No way she said that.
No, I'm being dead ass. She's like, there's a reason why they have like so many people involved in like the decision making process from like a top level, is because she wants to foster a collaborative environment. But like the minute like any decision is made, like LeBron said Tyronn Lue, she was like, no. Like, she was accountability, right? But like when there's failures to the organization, oh bro, it's collaborative. It's collaborative. Like, bro, you are the fucking owner. You are paying the bills, bro. Grow some fucking balls.
Why do people still want Mark Jackson as a coach? Like, I'm just curious. Why do people still want Mark Jackson as a coach?
Because they're 12. They're 12.
Why does Stephen A. Smith still always call for Mark Jackson?
Why do we talk about coaching, bro? Like,
no, like coaching is okay. Look,
most of us are very retarded when it comes to X's and O's, bro. Like,
I agree.
None of us
speak for yourself, little bro.
No, nigga, I've watched games with you, Ash. I know more about that shit than you. Get off my fucking dick.
Yeah, there's no way you just said that.
No pussy ass, little head ass nigga, little shoe ass nigga.
Oh my god.
No way.
Now, me personally,
let him speak. Let him speak.
Yeah, bro. Let's continue the conversation, man.
No, but like, okay, I think that like coaching can only raise your ceiling, not your floor. It's very difficult to do that.
Ty Lue kind of raised the floor this year with Clippers. For the Clippers.
That's why you got a fucking bump on your forehead, big ass nigga. That big ass thump. You think niggas don't be seeing?
Oh my god!
What is this nigga on about, bro?
Long story short, bro. The Lakers. There's no direction. That's kind of my overarching problem. Is that the only direction that this team has really had for the past 3 to 4 years is get LeBron and then get a star next to LeBron. That's really been it. There's no consistent growth. There's nothing stable. There's nothing ongoing. There's no retaining of a young player or quality player who could steadily improve outside of fucking THT that they immediately regretted. Like nothing. There's none of that.
They should have kept Caruso. They should have just kept Caruso.
They should have kept
third star, but it didn't happen.
No, but I also think like this is like, now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like this is a pattern post Shaq and Kobe. I feel like they kind of run into the same issues, but they have like one star.
Nah, they built a good team around Kobe, nigga.
No, they no.
Yeah, the Pau Gasol team, like that was a good trade.
No, but they sell a house for that second All-Star, that second star, and then they have a small run, but then after that they don't have the ability to kind of have any type of consistency because they're like, you know, moving assets after 1 year or like trying to like retool every year.
Well, I think they just waited too long to build around Kobe. By the time 2008 hit, he had a short window of opportunity.
And I would still disagree because not only did they get Powell, but they also got Trevor Ariza.
Right.
Bro, that team had depth.
Who quickly
the 09 team had depth.
Who quickly turned into like a quality player at the age of 23.
They had
Lamar. Also had Bynum. Bynum was a growing star at that point.
And then they turned Trevor Ariza into Ron Artest, who, in my opinion, I still didn't like that trade, but you know it is what it is. players like Jordan Farmar, Vucevic, and Shannon Brown were coming off the bench, quality rotation guards. And even though I wasn't like the biggest fan of when they got Steve Blake, but even the addition of Steve Blake wasn't that bad. And Matt Barnes, they were both like 30 years old at the time. They weren't like too old. But I understand more or less what you're saying. Like, for whatever reason, quality teams in the NBA have been able to like obtain talent while also still finding young pieces that can continue to grow. And the Lakers have just they don't do that for whatever reason. It's impossible for them to do.
It's because they're the Lakers,
and
they just think they can get anybody.
LA and New York have been doing this. They'll get a couple of good guys, and then they like forget like that there's 3 other guys in their starting lineup, and you need a 14-man roster, and you can't just be like, I'm in New York, you're gonna play for me now. Like, you actually have to create a culture and an organizational structure that makes it conducive.
KD, Kyrie, and Zion.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, bro.
And but what's crazy is like that's all they. Yeah, the Lakers have basically been like, yo, AD and LeBron, and that's it. Without like being like understanding that you need more than that. And
they're just like, go, do it, just get it done.
Yeah, just go do it. Just go do it.
Well, the expectation was when they traded for AD was that he's going to be able to carry the torch. when LeBron aged out, and that just didn't happen.
That's true. That's true.
That was the whole premise of that trade.
Hold AD accountable, please.
You're supposed to carry the torch.
But we never knew AD. We never knew AD was going to be injury prone.
He was injury prone before. What do you mean? What? He was then injury prone.
No. He was injury prone.
What did he just I'm assuming you're trolling.
What NBA have you been watching?
No. But you can't You can't expect Anthony Davis to carry this bum ass roster when LeBron ages out, because that's just Pelicans 2.0, and that's not what.
But it's not. But it's not even really. It's not really because I understand the problem with AD is that he was supposed to start peaking at like top 5, top 7 levels. So fair enough. Like he's not going to like carry it, but like if you have to go a couple of like a year or two with like Kobe Bryant 04, 05, 06 type of years, like it shouldn't be the worst thing in the world because you still have one of the top 5, top 7 players in the NBA. But the problem with Anthony Davis, especially last year when I saw him match up with fucking Giannis, I was like, nigga, you're so far removed from these conversations, bro. It doesn't even make any sense.
He peaks in his first year. With the
to be fair, he wasn't though. He wasn't when he first got here. He was top 5.
And that is true. I don't. He probably was never really that guy in the first place. To be fair, yeah, I don't think he ever.
Yo, Lo, shut the fuck up, bro. You and these stupid ass takes, bro. Like, oh my god. You said the Reggie shit, it was just stupid, it was retarded, and you keep going with it, bro. Let's talk about that, bro. We get it. The Lakers suck. Let's talk about how you and Ash.
Yeah, get that nigga out of here, please, boy. Jesus.
Damn.
Hey, you can't go back and drag the AD trade for what they traded for, because he was that guy when they traded for him.
But nobody.
No. We're not dragging the AD. We're just saying that if he was expected to be the guy post the LeBron era, the reality is that as good as AD is, he's just not that good of a player to like really carry. He's just not. Like, he's not
saying that they outbid themselves.
He's never been a player that would you was never that player though.
I think like if you look at that Pelicans team, like I don't think they had any legit contending aspirations. But like when they swept the Blazers, I know the Blazers are not all that, but like that team looked like okay, like that had some direction.
But the reason, this is not
the Pelicans were a bad matchup for the Blazers.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm not knocking Anthony Davis, but that was a roster where they were playing Al-Farouq Aminu at the fucking power forward and Evan Turner at the 3. Like the only legitimate big they had was fucking Yusuf Nurkic, and the biggest reason why that Portland team struggled had a lot to do with how Jrue Holiday and
the backcourt.
The backcourt, Jrue Holiday and Rondo were blitzing and going over screens to kind of try to keep up. That's really the reason why. And again, I'm not trying to knock AD because he had a great series, but that's not a proper representation of what we're talking about. We're talking about a player where they scheme against you, they have the proper personnel to go up with you. You can still produce at a fairly high level, And on top of that, we can like bank on you coming in playing at a high level consistently. He's not a Giannis. He's not a Luka. He's not a Kobe. He's not a fucking Tim Duncan. He's not like he needs to. They were basically banking, and everybody's been waiting for him to be a generational type of an impact player, and he's not that. He's a great player. I would even go as far as to say he might even be a weak MVP level player some years. But that's not what people were expecting. They were expecting him to have highs that were close to generational level highs, not fucking solid all NBA caliber highs. Not that.
You don't think he was MVP level in 20?
I think he was, but I don't know if he can be MVP level while he's the main source of offense and defense. Like I don't know if that's possible. But yeah, I think 20 is if 20 is the best version that you can get out of Anthony Davis, I think that's fine. However, I don't think that would be enough. Like I think you would still need another, because I mean he basically had another MVP caliber player next to him.
He's far removed from that player too, to be honest. Like
I don't think that's the best. I don't think that's the best Anthony Davis, just because of Frank. I think he could be used, more than just in the post. That's why I think he's
Najee says bring him up.
Bro was like 18%.
Hey, LeBron maximized AD that year. He got him
like Anthony was just shambolic as a perimeter player. Like it was actually bad. Like dude cannot like I bet you could put like a random like D1 college player and they would shoot better than him. Like that guy was shooting.
It's just a simple fact that like Anthony Davis is great. I'm trying to figure out like a way to like compare him to a player where this player is like a really great player. He can do a lot of really great things.
He's like Jason Tatum.
We gotta stop
that 20 season.
We gotta stop
AD outplayed Giannis.
About 80 and 20. Like I just heard a nigga say
that 20 he outplayed Giannis.
Say Bron
Giannis was MVP.
And there's this narrative that like AD's offensive load or his offensive utilization, I should say, was changed as a Laker, and it wasn't, bro. If you were watching the games at the time, if you were watching the games at the time, nigga, they never ran pick and roll enough. They never gave the nigga ample spacing. He was a post big, and he was an isolation big. Like his spot up stuff,
and he's terrible at passing out of the post. That's not his strength.
Passing out of the post is like
not his strength.
He's like Embiid now level. Like he's not good, but it's terrible. It's like
they would just use the pick and roll to like close out close games. That's like they
never used it. But you hear niggas, if you let niggas on this app tell it, bro, the nigga was playing like Amari Stoudemire. Like niggas just lie about AD.
No, he wasn't.
Like
I'm saying like when they played Cleveland, because I watched that game.
You let niggas tell it. They'll tell you Reggie Miller. He a top 10 offensive player all time.
Cook him, love. He didn't say that though, nigga.
Hey, you let niggas tell it.
You just keep lying and saying the nigga didn't say shit that
stay in front of Reggie Miller can stay in
front
of Michael Jordan.
That. What he said.
Hey, wait. Before are we gonna change the topic of this completely, or are we?
I'm actually, because I don't know if niggas gonna sit here and listen to Eli and I talk about fucking Reggie Miller. Man, you let niggas tell it. They'll tell you Reggie Miller can stay in front of.
No, we can talk about it. Let's talk about it, because I'm getting a little. Hey man, because this nigga Eli, he keep adding me, bro. He keeps saying stuff. I'm kind of sick of this, bro. So we might have to, bro.
I'm happy NMZ's here too, because quiet as kept. Eli's another fucking Reggie Miller dick sucker. So let's
wait.
Yo.
Hey, we're changing this space. I just want everybody to know this space officially changed. Just want y'all to know. So yeah, we're not talking about the Lakers no more. Thank you.
Yes, if you want to leave, then get skedaddle.
I gotta change
niggas
the title.
Will just lie about what the nigga said and say some
Reggie
shit.
Miller
the
is
nigga,
Jaylen
hey,
Brown,
nobody asked you to speak, nigga.
Jaylen Brown. He is Jaylen Brown, bro.
Yeah.
He's who?
You've never
seen
Jaylen
Brown, bro.
You've never seen.
They don't even
never seen this nigga play basketball.
They don't even play the same.
And even
Jaylen Brown is crazy.
Anyways, Lo. You and Ash have gone on this shit.
You get no bitches.
It just lied about what the niggas said. You niggas would try to make it seem like the nigga was saying that the nigga was stopping Michael Jordan. He never even said the term. He could stay in front of Michael Jordan. He said Reggie Miller wasn't a very good defender, insinuating that he thought that Reggie was either a neutral or slight negative In some cities,
no, that's not what. No,
That's not.
You're lying. You're lying. Now you're
He's
lying. You're lying.
You're lying.
Because what's crazy is he actually said that he was a positive defender. You're lying. He didn't say neutral to slight negative. That's not what he said. He actually said verbatim that he will be a positive defender. You're lying, nigga.
And he said he said and agreed to Cody talking about how if he buckled down, he could stay in front of Michael Jordan.
That's literally what he said.
Wait.
You know what, Eli? I think Eli.
No. The reason
he said buckle
stop
down.
trying to cut me off because if you niggas would pay attention to what he actually said, he said that in Reggie's younger years he viewed him as a positive, which he's held true for like going on half a decade now. His evals are very public. For most of Reggie's career, he viewed Reggie as a negative defender, and he's stated this multiple times. So just to pretend like the nigga tried to make him seem like a wing stopper, and even in the years that he has Reggie as a positive, like the aforementioned earlier years, it's literally only as a slight. And then to sit here and say that like it's crazy to say that Reggie like Reggie had positive on-ball reps against Michael Jordan is fucking silly. Because if you watch any game from Reggie before 1992 against Michael Jordan, there's like you could find like 10 to fucking 15 possessions of him staying in front of MJ. Like, it's not that hard to find, but you don't fucking watch the games. You just hate this nigga. You just
nigga.
I can dead ass sing you 10 to 12 possessions of him staying in front of MJ right now.
All right, Eli.
I can find you 10 possessions of James staying in front of Steph.
Nobody's saying that you can't do that, but why? That wouldn't be an accurate representation.
And he doesn't have. He doesn't. No, the reason.
Wait.
Oh, you describe? No. Yes, it. Because he was talking about bro. The reason, wait, low. The reason that what you're saying is wrong is because like Reggie being a high wire, like a pesky on ball defender in his early career is just true. That's
Eli.
High wire just means the nigga has a long wingspan.
You saying he a gritty hard worker?
Eli, I could probably find games where like let's just say pre-Warriors Wiggins is playing defense like quality enough defense and against certain players, right? But that doesn't mean that I would then
how many times does the nigga have to string together games where he's pesky on ball and in the early 90s and late 80s?
Again, Eli. I am not saying that the nigga was dog shit defensively. But what I'm not going to do
you can say that. That's fine.
But what I'm not going to do is wait. What I'm not going to do is sit here and say a positive defender and then base it off of a handful of fucking He could have just said he was a neutral defender.
Respect his active hands.
What he said was earlier. What he said was earlier in Reggie's career. He viewed Reggie as a slight positive. You could literally check his evals. It's legit, like the slightest positive you can be. Like one tier above.
Bro, we might have to go. We might have to go on the Discord.
Wait. Can I just finish?
Go.
He brought up he didn't just say, oh, it was because of a couple clips where he guarded MJ. He brought up like examples of opposing shooting guards.
I can go play you the podcast in VC.
That's what I'm saying. We gotta go on the thing and play it.
This is fine.
Play to what he was saying.
This is fine.
I will.
That's fine. But just let me finish. What examples of this that he utilized to like say that Reggie like wasn't anything demonstrably negative as a defender were things like opposing shooting guards tended to underperform against the Pacers. The Pacers were never ever a bad defense, and there's just like multiple strings of possessions where the nigga is doing his job and staying at a pretty high rate, just as like a general pesky on-ball defender.
You see him bothering John Starks?
That is just objectively what Reggie was in the early 90s. He was a very pesky.
But when he made Eli, the entire conversation in which he was talking about on the podcast we were listening to was not based in the early 90s. It was based in mid to late 90s, early 2000s.
That's not true.
What?
That is true. That's what he was referring to.
When he was talking about Because when he was talking about the possessions that he had.
No. I'm not gonna let you talk because you don't even understand what we were trying to say.
I'm about to say I don't think you get. You don't
even understand what our main issue is. That's why we're saying let's just go to VC and we can go listen to the podcast. You don't understand
we're gonna have
the issues that we're getting mad at. We're going to VC.
I don't think you understand what we're saying. You just don't understand because you're taking everything we're saying out of context. Nigga, he literally was not even put aside that, bro. Before we get out of here,
he was. I do feel like because you're gonna make it seem like I'm just saying anything. I do feel like that there were some disingenuous points about Harden, right? And I do feel like there were
not Harden, Reggie Miller.
And I do also feel like there were some points about Reggie that were overhyped. But then I've listened to what the fuck you said about Reggie. I've listened to the arguments that you've made, and them just countlessly be way more disingenuous. And you just never have a counter argument for like why were his team so successful? Why was he so productive? You just never tell me why. And then I listen to one argument that also is like, oh, there's some issues with it. And I'm like, that argument is just way fucking better than yours. Because yours is actually shit. Like, it's actually consistently bad. Like, that's I don't
say you don't do your research.
I'm saying your takes about Reggie have just been consistently bad. So when I hear a take about Reggie that isn't completely true, but also has like things that are just objectively true, I take that with less grain of salt than when you fucking speak on this nigga. Because you constantly say stupid shit about him.
All right. So last time we had this conversation, Eli, we went to go watch this nigga. We went to go watch it. No, stop. I'll let you talk.
Me and you never watched them together.
Yes, we did, Eli.
On God, we did it.
Eli.
On my mom.
We might have actually done it on stream.
We said we were the only nigga we watched together, and you can check it was on the stream. The first nigga we watched together was Nash, where you were constantly nitpicking and sucking this nigga's dick.
Yeah, Nash was actually good that game.
I know exactly what you're gonna do once we watch Reggie. It's just gonna be you. This
no. And wait. And if it wasn't,
you're gonna pick a random game where he played bad. So
if it wasn't you and I, but I vividly remember us watching.
You might have done it with some other niggas.
It might have been somebody else. I vividly remember watching Reggie Miller in Discord with other people, and we were literally watching this nigga, his inability to create down the stretch, costing his team games. So yes, to the argument of is Reggie Miller a great offensive player? Yes. Is Reggie Miller's true shooting relative to his era? Was it staggeringly amazing? Of course. But I'm not gonna sit here and gas this nigga all NBA selections like this nigga was. This nigga was talking about this nigga getting all NBA selection votes in 2005, acting as if like it was an accurate representation of who he was as a player.
Respect the voters in 05?
No, Lo. I think
I didn't find it.
No, Lo. He even said it too. Reggie wasn't like an all-star wasn't an all-NBA caliber player in 2005. He was more so like using it as like to say like, damn, this dude got crazy longevity.
Because the nigga has the nigga's opinions on this nigga are
stop. It was bullshit. If
you lagging out.
Oh, okay. I thought it was me.
And even if you want to say the nigga had disingenuous points, I agree. The nigga said some stupid shit. I've just seen you consistently say stupid shit about Reggie. So this is not a Ben Taylor thing. I don't give a fuck about that. I just give a fuck about you saying dumb things about the nigga and then doubling down on that dumb shit consistently.
I'm back. Nigga, because we got to just go on Discord real quick. Nigga, the argument he was making was trying to talk about his longevity and talk about how he was getting votes. Nigga, the votes that he got in 05 was literally one vote. Easily could have been a fucking Pacers reporter. It was one. He then was talking about how he was a fringe All-NBA player for some of these years. And he was like, oh, he was on the brink of being on an All-NBA team. And not even saying like there weren't years when he played at an All-NBA level that he didn't make a team. That's fair. But just sit here and just make the argument that he was so close to being on an All-NBA team that if there were just hypothetical fourth All-NBA team, he would have made the fucking team. And then you go look at how far removed he was from the actual third team. Bro, this nigga was like hundreds of votes or like 80 plus votes away from making it. He was not close to making it. Matter of fact, there was a year.
The reason this framing is unfair is because when Ben talks in this, especially in comparison to like his top 40 profile, is not based on like that. That's not what the nigga. Then, if anything, the niggas called out the All NBA voting, especially in Reggie's case, for consistently being wrong and just having niggas that weren't as impactful as him consistently be first team in this era.
Understandable. If he brought up those years, fine. But don't fucking leak, because he led the argument when he got to Reggie Miller with a fucking 2005 All-NBA vote, and then tried to make it seem as if, like, well, maybe, just maybe, back then there might have been a couple of people who really saw the NBA in a different lens than we did. It's like, no, nigga, it was one vote in 2005. It was 113 vote in 2003. It was 113 vote in 2000.
Wait, Lo, could I interject?
Nigga.
Wait, so... No, Lo. So the point about him saying that, like, oh, like, people were seeing it in a different lens, I thought he was implying, like, in his prime, not in his, like,
he literally was gassing this nigga, saying from 89 to 05, he was getting all NBA votes. That's how you framed it.
Let's go listen to it.
No, I get that, but the point of him saying that, like, oh, like, people could
fuck listening to it. Let's just go watch fucking Reggie. So you can and don't do this shit where you go on stream and you stream a Reggie game where the nigga shot 6 for fucking 23.
Nigga, we can literally go watch.
I told you he's not that guy.
We can go watch some of the better fucking Reggie Miller games, nigga. And I promise you, at the end of
Game 5 against New York,
even those New York series that he was fucking losing, at the end of those games when it was ready to
respect Big Pat,
nigga, it all crumbled apart every single time.
Listen, when you're going against Patrick Ewing, I don't blame you if you lose. I'm not gonna lie.
Nigga, your dick's sucking.
What?
He's literally
respect.
He's literally a Knicks fan, and low framing series that were consistently competitive as this nigga just getting fucked is crazy.
I never said. He
was losing. By the way, don't do this shit. You're not gonna gaslight me. I'm not gonna be gaslit.
Throughout the series, let me take that back. Throughout the series, he was great. He was amazing. I didn't say throughout the series he was fucking trash or he wasn't competitive. They were competitive series. I'm actually actively telling you that we can look at the Knicks series because I'm identifying that they are some of the most competitive series, and it would still prove my point, nigga.
So all you saying is that at the end of games he wasn't able to create his own shot.
It's not even that. It's the framing of how Ben Taylor was looking at him. Because I'm about to end this space. We can go to Discord and we can listen to what he was saying. And I want y'all to really tell me how you interpret what the fuck he's saying.
Okay, so Lo, the thing is, like, I was like listening to the podcast like this morning. Like, I'm serious. I felt like when he was like talking about the different lens point, it was talking about his prime years, not more so like.
Nigga, let's go.
It came directly after he mentioned
it came literally directly after. Let's go. Fuck it.
But shout out all of
them. Drop the link.
Wait. No. I don't give a fuck about this podcast. No. I'm saying what I'm saying is that there were clear points that you said the nigga is like barely top 70 before. Like you word for word said this shit. So
you take me saying he's barely top 70 as for real? That's you do?
Okay, is he or is he not?
Okay, all right, Eli. All right, nigga.